Michigan State, David. Who's the bigger surprise this season and why?
I think Michigan State, you think about Mel Tucker coming over and the way they've built this team. They got 40-plus transfers on this roster, and their best player on offense, Kenneth Walker, is a transfer, and just trying to find a way, navigate through the transfer portal era, and that's how he's built his team. I think it's a big surprise. There's a lot going on here in Michigan State with D'Antonio when he left, and there wasn't a lot of success, and then all of a sudden this year, come out of nowhere, being undefeated, I think has been a huge surprise in college football. And listen, this game right here, Michigan State, you talk about playoff ramifications. I mean, this is the biggest game probably throughout the season right now that we have through the rest of the way, because both teams undefeated. Both teams play Ohio State and will stay alive in the playoff hunt, even if they have a close loss to Ohio State. So I think this is obviously a huge showdown.
David, how big of a game is this for Mel Tucker's coaching career, which means that if he wins this Michigan game, will he start to be looked at as a potential replacement in certain openings in college football or certain openings in the National Football League?
Yeah, and if you've ever spent time with Mel, I mean, he's got something about him. He's a different dude, man. He's got some charisma. He's got some swag. I love Mel. He spent a bunch of years with Nick Saban, spent a bunch of years with Kirby Smart. And I think he's already a candidate for the LSU job. He's already been mentioned for that. The thing is, he was at Colorado for a year, then went to Michigan State. This is his second year, first full year because of COVID last year in a shortened season. So I don't know if he jumped ship yet. But here's the thing. Why do that? If you're at Michigan State and you can use the transfer portal and you can recruit at such a level that he can recruit at, the Big Ten pays. I mean, they make a ton of money off the Big Ten network. He can pay for his coaches. He can have a really, really good living. You look at LSU. The last two coaches have both won national championships, and both of them ain't got a job. So, it's a lot different pressure. I know he's familiar with that league. So if I was Mel Tucker, man, and I hope he does just for college football's sake, I hope he stays in the Big Ten and continues to build Michigan State in this, and build the tradition and build the history and continue to grow the Big Ten.
What players are the Wolverines going to have to be careful for in this particular game on Mel Tucker's side with the Sparties?
Well, dude, if you've watched Mel Tucker in Michigan State, it starts with Kenneth Walker. I mean, this dude, he's an animal. I mean, he really is good. He's a transfer, again, from Wake Forest, but really quick, fast, low to the ground, tiny, his tiny stature, but breaks tackles, makes 80-yard runs. They're an explosive offense with Reed, with Naylor. They don't have a great offensive line. I don't think they're going to just line up and pound Michigan over and over again, but can they make those explosive plays with Peyton Thorne in the passing game and Kenneth Walker in the run game? So they're not an elite offense, but they're an explosive offense, and Michigan will be aggressive. Can they make big plays in the passing game?
Jim Harbaugh is hoping to have a celebratory moment of the week with a win brought to you by Allstate. Save money like a champion with Allstate. Championship savings for the win. So, Dave, I wanted to ask you this. When do you think Coach Harbaugh will start getting the credit for what this team has been able to do? I feel like every time I'm on a show or when I listen to shows, people are constantly destroying him. Where do you stand with where he has this program currently?
Well, obviously this year is different. I mean, he's been pretty bad up until this point when it comes to beating elite opponents, when it comes to beating Ohio State, which is obviously key. I mean, you think about the expectations coming into his career and all the brash talk and then the close game against Ohio State years ago, and you thought he was going to build this program and be a dominant program, and they haven't done that. Now, listen, this team looks more like Harbaugh. Like, it is smash mouth, old school, run the football. It's not explosive on offense, but they do enough to keep you, off balance. But listen, if he beats Michigan State, he beats a top 10 team. He hasn't done much of that in his time at Michigan. He hasn't beat many ranked opponents in his time at Michigan. So he's already starting to build more credibility throughout this season. But everybody's going to point to the Ohio State game at the end of the season as the game that they have to win. They've played some close ones, but they've won, and that's the most important thing so far throughout the season.
Understood. The CFP rankings will be released on Tuesday. So with that being said, give me your top four, Dave. What do we got?
Well, I think Georgia will still be in the top four. I think they'll beat Florida. I think Cincinnati's still going to be in the top four because they're not going to play anything that really threatens them. I think Oklahoma will still be in the top 4, or I think will be in the top 4, and then I think Alabama will be in the top 4. But again, the winner of this game, stock goes up. Stock starts to creep into that top 4, and then they're going to have a chance to earn their way in there by beating Ohio State and company. So, listen, whatever your rankings are, I don't care what they are because they're going to work themselves out. But, I've seen people put Ohio State 2. I think Kirk did, on our Tuesday night show. He had Ohio State all the way up at 2 with a loss ahead of, undefeated teams. So I'm not going to be surprised by anything, but the committee will have that choice early with Cincinnati to make.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.